Good morning, students. In the previous video, we started the Salt March and the Civil Disobedience movement. In that, you have studied in the beginning that on 31 January 1930, Mahatma Gandhi sent a letter to Viceroy Irwin. In that letter, there were 11 demands. He asked him to complete those demands and fulfill those demands of the people. But the thing was that it was not heard. So, in those demands, the most stirring of all was the demand to abolish the salt tax. Salt is a thing that was consumed by the rich and the poor alike. Both richer section and poorer section they used to use salt. We all use salt. So, tax on salt and the government monopoly over its production. Mahatma Gandhi declared revealed the most oppressive phase of British rule. So, tax on salt was the most brutal thing government has done to Indians. Mahatma Gandhi's letter was a kind of ultimatum. If demands were not fulfilled by 11 March, as in the letter, it says the Congress would launch a civil disobedience campaign. So, Lord Irwin, viceroy of that time, he did not want to talk about those demands. So Mahatma Gandhi started his famous Salt March, and he started that salt march from Sabarmati Ashram. So the volunteers walked for 24 days, about 10 miles a day. So many people, thousands of people used to come to hear Mahatma Gandhi on its way, and he urged them to peacefully defy the British. Means he Gandhiji requested them that you should be a part of this campaign in a peaceful manner. On 6th April he reached Dandi. It is a coastal town in Gujarat, and he ceremonially violated the law. How he violated the law? He manufactured salt by boiling seawater. So, this action of Gandhiji was marked as the beginning of civil disobedience movement in India. So, how this movement was different from non-cooperation movement? Two different names we have. Now, what is the difference? People were now asked not only to refuse cooperation. One thing, they were not cooperating, and the other thing, you can see, as they had done in 1921 too, but also to break colonial laws, that is civil disobedience. Now they were disobeying the British government, but in a civilized manner, in a peaceful manner. Non cooperation means not cooperating with the Britishers but not violating any law. Here civil disobedience means non cooperating with the government plus violating colonial laws. Thousands in different part of country broke the salt law, manufactured salt and demonstrated in front of government salt factories. As the movement spread, foreign cloth was boycotted and liquor shops were banned. That was also the part of the non-cooperation movement. Peasants refused to pay revenue and chowkidari taxes. Village officials resigned, and in many places, forest people violated forest laws. How they violated forest law? They entered the reserved forest. Now, as the civil disobedience movement was growing, so Britishers were afraid. They were worried, and they started arresting the leaders of the Congress. This led to violent clashes in many people. When Abdul Ghaffar Khan, a devout disciple of Mahatma Gandhi, was arrested in 1930, angry crowds demonstrated in the streets of Peshawar facing armed cars and police firing. Many were killed. So this was one of a violent clash when one of the top leader Abdul Ghaffar Khan, he was a disciple of Mahatma Gandhi. He was arrested. People in return, they opposed this thing, but in a violent way. A month later, when Mahatma Gandhi himself was arrested, so after the arrest of Abdul Ghaffar Khan, after 1 month, Mahatma Gandhi was arrested. Industrial workers in Sholapur attacked police posts. In return, workers of Sholapur, they attacked police post, municipal building means government property. They attacked government property because government property at that time it symbolized British rule. It showed that it is a British rule. A frightened government responded with a policy of brutal repression. So Britishers अभी भी नहीं मान रहे थे. What they did brutally, cruelly, with cruelty they repressed. Peaceful satyagrahis were attacked, women and children were beaten, and about 1 lakh people were arrested. You can imagine the condition of the country. In such a situation, Mahatma Gandhi was again decided to call off the movement and entered into a pact with Irvin on 5 March 1931. So, situation was out of control. Gandhi ji stopped the movement at that time in 1931, and there was a pact, there was a discussion, there was a pact with Irvin on 5 March 1931. By this Gandhi Irvin pact, what was the result of that? Gandhiji consented to participate in Round Table Conference. So Gandhiji said, "Okay, I will attend the Round Table Conference." Um, the first was boycotted by the Congress, but now Gandhiji agreed. That was to be held in London, and government agreed to release the political prisoners. So what happened in that round table conference we will study. In December 1931, Gandhiji went to London for the conference, but the negotiations broke down and he returned disappointed. But he was disappointed. Nothing happened in the favor of our country in that round table conference that held in 1931 in London. This was the second round table conference. First was boycotted by Mahatma Gandhi, or Congress we can say. Back in India, he discovered that government had become begun a new cycle of repression. When he returned to India, he saw government has not changed in a positive manner. Again, government was doing cruelty. Ghaffar Khan and Jawaharlal Nehru both were in jail. The Congress had been declared illegal. So in the absence of Mahatma Gandhi, these things happened. It was a it was a kind of treachery from the Britishers, and a series of measures had been imposed to prevent meetings, demonstrations, and boycotts. So many restrictions were there for meetings even. With great oppression, Mahatma Gandhi relaunched civil disobedience movement. So again Mahatma Gandhi started civil disobedience movement. For over a year a movement continued, but by 1934 it lost its momentum. So for 1 year everything was alright, but in 1934 movement lost its momentum. So what we have studied until now, we have studied non-cooperation movement. We have studied how non-cooperation movement worked, what were the stages, and what was Swaraj according to different sections of society. We have studied that in earlier pages, in previous pages. And then we have started about civil disobedience movement. What was the reason behind this movement? What was the procedure of this movement? And how this movement was taken, and it was being called off, again started. We have studied these things. Now, what were the reasons that the movement lost its momentum? Reasons were how participants saw the movement, because participants are the main component of a movement. Movement is only and only based on the participants and the leaders. Leaders were all right, but the thing was that the message was not quite clear to the participants. And even participants, different groups of participants have their personal issues to solve. personal issues to be solved. That's why they did not have the same aim to get the freedom, to get the independence of the country. It was not the aim of the people. So, in these paragraphs, in 3.2, that we are going to study in the next video, we will study about these things, that what were the reasons why the movement lost its momentum in 1934. So, what you can do, you can make a flow chart of the events of the chapter in your notebook. So, with the help of a flow chart, it will be easier for you to understand the chapter in a proper manner, in a sequence. You can write important dates also in that. So, that's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.